God. Ask God.
Hey Scott, how you doing? My name's Jared, calling from Kansas City, and actually the Missouri side of the Kansas City metro area. But I'm new to this product FBA deal. I've done a lot of online affiliate sales, AdSense. You know, I've written an actual printed book in the self-help category, but then I've also done outsourcing of other books and small niches and ebooks and all that kind of stuff, and did quite well on that. I actually did SEO for a while for a living, but then Panda came along and wiped all that out. A Google update, years ago, and so I was kind of jaded from that point. To put all your business all in the hands of something like that. So then I kind of geared more towards my own personal brand. But I am an executive for a technology company, which I really love my job. But this product idea and this FBA thing has really got me intrigued. But I have a question. There's not a lot of that I've heard yet on any of your podcasts, and I've just made my way through probably a third of them. But private label is, the way I understand it, is you're not just taking I can source the product from China and put it out. I can just source it right from China, put it out on Amazon and see if it sells. And it's not my brand. It's, so I can do that to test to see if it even sells. Correct, but it's not actually a private label until I just have them put my logo on it. Is that what makes it a private label? And then maybe call it something, that what my logo is. So I'm a little confused on that. Actually, that part of it, So when I first order because I'm going to start off with probably just 100. But when I first order that 100, does that 100 need to be private label, or can I just say, hey, give me 100 of those? I like that. I think it'll sell. Give me 100 of those and boom, try that. And then if that works, then I can, put my own logo on it. And then is it considered a private label? So that's one of my questions. My other question is, so out of these, do you sell samples? Would you take a sample and put it online? So what I'm doing is I'm actually getting 2 samples, 4 different products that I like from this company, 2 samples of each of these 4 products. And then if I like them, I'm probably going to order 100 products, 25 of each of these different products. So I have 100 total products, 25 of each of these different products. And then I'm just going to throw all those out on Amazon, see which ones sell out of those, do well. And then, margins and all that stuff in consideration. And then whichever one out of those sells, I'll have 25 stock of each. Then I'm going to probably order 1,000 of that one. And then move on from there. And then that's probably at that point, when I do 1,000, it's probably when I go ahead and say, hey, I want to put my logo on it. I got a brand name I want to call it. And anyway, I don't know if you're even going to listen to this message or hear it all the way through or even respond before I kind of need to make a decision. But I thought, what the hell? Maybe someone else has had this question too. And appreciate everything you do, and bless you and your family. And I hope you continue to be successful. Thanks.
Hey, Jared, thank you so much for the question. And I love how you shared your story as far as where you've been and kind of how you got a little jaded, and you got a little upset with the whole online selling, and I get it, right? I mean, it's those changes, and I wanted people to hear this because again, I try to keep bringing it back to reality. Like, things are going to change, and you've had success as an affiliate. You've had a success doing Kindle books and printed books, and you've had some success, right? But then things changed, and then you felt like, oh my gosh, now they just changed this. I built this whole thing, and now all of a sudden it cut my income in half, or whatever it is, or my traffic, whatever it is. And you got frustrated, and you said, you know what, I'm just going to walk away from this type of business. I don't want to deal with it. You kind of took a deep breath, you regrouped, and again, as being an entrepreneur, it's hard to turn that off, right? It's hard when you see, especially an opportunity that you already have a skill set. Like, you already have a huge skill set that a lot of people don't have, because you've done the building of websites, you've done affiliate marketing, you know how that works, you know how, finding traffic and converting, you know how AdSense and Google works, right? You know all of that stuff. That doesn't mean that stuff doesn't change, but you understand it. So I wanted people to hear that really out of your question. I mean, I'm going to answer your question, but I just wanted people to hear, because things are going to change, whether it's Amazon, eBay, or whatever platform we're using, or just online in general. Things are going to change, and it's okay. But you've taken a deep breath. you've said to yourself, I like this. This is a cool idea. I think it could work for me because I kind of get the whole model. And then with your expertise, you really can build it out even bigger with, capturing emails and, getting your traffic from different sources. Like, you've got a pretty good advantage there. So I would encourage someone like you definitely to look at this business model. Now, with that all being said, let me kind of address your questions. You're kind of right in a sense that what makes a private label product? Well, what makes a private label product really is you being able to put your brand on there. That doesn't even mean that product has to have your brand name on the product. It just needs to be sold by you, and it needs to have some type of marking. It could be on your packaging. It could be on your box. It could be anywhere that establishes that is the brand. And again, really, you could take the exact same item as someone else and just put your logo on it, and now all of a sudden you're the manufacturer of that product because you're that brand, right? Now, that's not the best way to do it. Now, the other thing is talking about kind of like your slow start way. And I like that. It's a slow start in a sense. It's more of a safe way of starting. And that's something that I talked about on episode 296 about the new open brand concept that I'm working with a partner. And it's exactly what you're saying. It's where you're testing a lower number of units. And then once you start to see them selling, then you can start to increase the amount that you're ordering. You can improve either the product or the packaging. But when you put all of it in, and I've done it, where you put all that energy in and then you get a slow mover and then you feel as though you have to keep pushing that, it makes it harder to go over here when you see something else that might make sense that you have to hold off on because, well, you've got all of this tied to this one product that you're doing. So it's very similar to what you're talking about as far as the open brand concept, which is really, yours may just be like one brand, but or even one market, but you're going to just launch, 10 or 20 different types of products to that market and see what sticks. Now, this comes down to product research again as well, because if you're going to do a low number like that, you're not going to really have any inventory to do any type of giveaway to your audience or to a deal group or club or whatever you want to do. Like me personally, now what we're doing is number one, we're finding products that have a very low number of reviews, usually 100 or less, and then that way there you don't have to do a ton of promotion to get it up and running. Just do some pay-per-click and you're kind of off to the races on that. But that takes the product research into account. But in your case, you're saying I might start with 25 or 50 units. That's fine as long as you've done your product research. Good. If you're trying to go after a product that has 500 plus reviews, or maybe there's 5 or 6 of those listings, and you're going to come in with just 25 units and expect to come in there and take some of those sales, probably not going to happen without doing some type of promotion or some outreach to get some products into people's hands to start the sales process, right? To get that in the algorithm of Amazon. If you can't do that, well, it's going to be harder to get going. And then even if you do pay-per-click, you're going to sell out of 25 units maybe, and you might say, well, wow, they sold out, but you had to pay for every single sale through pay-per-click. Again, not a terrible thing if you think that you can move them and then start to rank organically. That's really what it comes down to. But that's I think that's a great model, especially for people starting to say, you know what, I'm going to just maybe launch 4 or 5 or 6 different products. And again, I'm talking a little bit differently than I did when I first started, because now I see that things have changed again, right? The review game has changed, and the giveaways have changed, and the coupon codes, all of that has changed. I think for the better. I don't think it's a bad thing. But now I've kind of changed, where now what I would like to do is say, I can take 5 or 10 different products and launch them with a low number of low amount of inventory, do a very little on the front end as far as like, what do I got to do for graphics and logos and packaging and all that stuff, still make it good, maybe make some improvements to the product even still, if I want to, if I can do that with a low number of units, but sometimes you can't. But that to me is an easier way to test products and low risk, because again, if you have 30 units and you can't sell 30 units just by reducing the price of what you paid for them, you didn't do a good product research. You should be at least able to get out of it by just lowering your price. This also allows you to see what your conversions are going to be before you actually invest a ton of money in that. So yes, even from there, I'm not sure I would go from 25 units to 1,000 units. You might go from 25 to 500 and then to 1,000. But yes, at that point, that's when you would say, okay, now I'm going to start to build this out a little bit. Now I'm going to start to create some nice packaging. Now I'm going to start to give this a little bit more love, a little bit more attention, maybe make the product a little bit more unique, maybe add an accessory to it, depending on the price, the value of the product and all that stuff. But yeah, you're on the right track for sure. And I'm not sure if you're going to listen to this before you've actually done something. It sounds like that's already the path you were going to go down. So hopefully it is. But because, you guys know these Ask Scott sessions, I record them, but these questions could have been submitted 6-8 weeks ago. It's just hard for me to keep up with them on a weekly basis. I'm trying to do at least four questions a week. But again, if I receive more than 4 a week, which I usually do, it starts to get behind. So anyway, to answer your question, yes, you are on the right track as far as low risk way and a way to test more than just one product to see which one could possibly stick. And then from there, start focusing on that. And then what we're doing is we're building out email lists around that. We've done this contest strategy where we'll find something in that market that might be the main thing, right? Maybe it's a fishing pole that is the main thing that our product is going to help with, right? Maybe we've got, a fishing pole stand, or, maybe that goes on a boat or something like that. But we give away this really cool fishing pole. It's a name brand. And then we do that contest around that. We build up that email list. And then on the back end, we can sell them our fishing pole stand or our tackle box or accessories type stuff. So that's kind of what we're doing. We're playing around with that right now. So definitely I think you're on the right track. And I think you have a lot of skills that you might not even know that you have. You know that you can do these things, but to be able to take those two and bring them together, that's what I've found. I add more value to someone that might just know the Amazon side, right? Because I've done both sides, and I think you have too. So that's pretty powerful stuff. So anyway, I've rambled on long enough here. I'm excited for you. I think you have a great opportunity here. So definitely take advantage of it. And thank you so much for being a listener. Well, hey there. Thank you so much for listening to that episode of Ask Scott. Now, that was just a highlight from one of our full episodes where I generally answer 3 to 4 questions on a podcast. If you want to go back and listen to all of the past archives of not just the Ask Scott session, but all of the full episodes where I do interviews with top Amazon sellers, people starting from scratch and building a business, if you want to listen to any of those episodes, head over to theamazingseller.com and you can find all of that over there. You can also find details there on how you can ask your own question and get it aired on an upcoming Ask Scott session and possibly see it here on YouTube or just on the podcast. All right, so definitely head over to theamazingseller.com. There's tons of resources over there for you to be able to build your e-commerce and Amazon business. So definitely go check that out. Now, I just wanted to remind you one thing before I let you go. There's a lot of information out there and some of it is really, really good. What I want you to remember is you have to not just consume the information, you have to actually apply that information. So take this information that you learned here today and apply it to your business. And this way here, you can get results. As my shirt says, I wear it almost daily. Take action. We'll see you guys.